Hi everyone, I'm Lisa McConchy and I'm so excited to be trapped inside my home and distanced from all of you. I've never started a workshop like that before, just wanted to try it out. As of this recording, we are 1 week into our home isolation and home-based learning. Parents, you have been thrust into the teaching profession overnight. If you are pulling your hair out, desperate for a crash course on how to help your child's brain stay healthy and maybe even learn a little bit through a global pandemic, you're in the right place. This is hard. I mean, think about where you started this week. How many of you started on day one thinking, okay, I got this. I can do this. And you put together a detailed schedule and you researched 8 million websites offering free resources. And then day one happened. You're probably exhausted, but maybe moderately optimistic. By day two brought all of the memes of parents suspending their children and demanding teachers get paid billions of dollars by the hour. By day 3, many of us were frustrated beyond belief. And by day 4, some were ready to just call it the beginning of summer vacation. I get it. This is really, really hard. I mean, teaching the human brain school stuff is hard in general. Now, add in a global pandemic, and as you're about to see, the brain is being challenged in new ways and really being pushed to its limit. At the same time, there are certain elements of this circumstance that make it ideal for the brain to learn. We'll get into some of that in later episodes as well. But for now, just want to make sure that everyone understands that it's okay for this to feel really, really hard. Now, how do I know some things about the human brain? Well, I've spent the last 20 years studying the brain, specifically how it learns. I spent many wonderful years teaching middle school and high school math before transitioning to be a different kind of teacher, a teacher of teachers. I've traveled all over this world working with teachers in schools on how to transform their teaching to better align with the brain's natural way of learning. In fact, I was supposed to be at a school today in the Midwest that's working to transform their school to be a brain-based academy. But instead, I'm home here with my own 3 children. I have a kindergartner, a preschool, and a 2-year-old. Now, as I browse my social media feeds, it's obvious that we're all approaching these things in different ways. On one end of the spectrum, we have the parents like, okay, I'm going to create a minute-by-minute schedule. My kids are going to stay up to speed with absolutely everything. They're going to spend 10 hours a day on their academics. We're going to have weekly themes, color-coded boxes. We're going to have a class motto, and I'm going to be teacher of the year. And then on the other end of the spectrum are the parents who are like, are you freaking kidding me? We're in the middle of a global pandemic. It's okay that my kids are watching movies all day. Now, wherever you lie on that spectrum today, that's okay. I'm not here to tell you what you should or should not be doing. I'm here to do what I know best, and that is to share information about the human brain, the conditions it needs to be able to feel safe in order for it to learn. So, in fact, how stress impacts the brain and learning will be the first topic of our video series here of, so now you're a teacher. Over the next couple weeks, I'll guide you through to help you find the right balance of intense academic rigor and complete vegging out. There is a balance to find here, and it's going to be different for every single family. Here's what you can expect. Every weekday, I'll post a new video, 5 to 10 minutes long. Nobody has time for anything longer than that, of easy to understand information about the human brain, what your child needs for their brain to stay healthy and thrive during this home learning experience. Now, look, if this was really just going to last a couple weeks, then I would say to heck with it. Just let your kids watch movies. It's going to be fine. But that's not the reality. It's going to be a long time before our children are back in traditional classrooms. And I'm sorry that that's the circumstance that we're in. But it's time for us to adapt to a new normal. Staying in the mindset that this is just going to be a long spring break is going to have some really undesirable repercussions. Consider this. Summer break is already one of the few things that is bad for student learning. That's right. When you look at all of the research, most things happening at your child's school, to varying degrees, has a positive impact on their learning. There's just a handful of things that actually move students back in their learning. And summer vacation happens to be one of them. It's just too long. It's too long away from learning for the human brain to retain the information that it learned the year before. And so if we decide the summer break is starting right now, we're going to be dealing with some new challenges 6 months from now or whenever. I'm not making any predictions. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that you force your child to sit down and work their way through 90 pages of worksheets every day or 9 hours a day of sitting in front of a digital virtual learning environment. There's a balance to be found here, and there's many factors to consider. We're going to get through this. I'll help you shift through all of the major challenges that you're facing from a research-based perspective, and we're going to solve this. Teachers, if you are eavesdropping in on this conversation, you're welcome to do that. These will be the shortest PD courses of your entire career. Sit back and enjoy some high-quality professional development from your home. So starting Monday, March 23rd, I'll post episode 1, The Brain on Stress, all about how stress impacts the brain and what we can do about it so that our students can actually learn something while they're in their home learning environment. From there, we're going to talk about my next biggest concern as a brain expert, and that's this. How do we ensure that our children don't forget everything that they've learned so far this school year? That's something that's a really big concern of mine and worth our attention and some strategies that I'll share. After that, we'll start looking forward and we'll dissect some of the more critical needs that your child's brain has right now, given the current circumstance. We're going to take a look at the neuroscience of exercise, of motivation. My assumption is that within a week or two, a lot of parents are going to be struggling to keep their child motivated in their home-based learning. I've got strategies for you that are all research-based. How to help your child stay focused, pay attention to what's going on. Here's what you're not going to get from me. You're not going to get a million resources or curriculums or programs that I'm going to suggest for you. There are plenty of people who are compiling those lists already, and I'm grateful for them. They were helpful for me on day 1 and a bit overwhelming on day 2. So that's not what you need more of right now. What you need is what teachers need, and that is a way of understanding how the brain learns so that you can filter through all of those resources and your own ideas to make the best decision for your child. Now, I typically share tons of research and cite scholarly articles when I work with teachers. I'm going to assume that you don't have time right now to snuggle up with an academic journal and read through their academic lingo of their randomized controlled double-blind study of blah, 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 blah. So if you want a reference, I have it. Just ask. But for now, feel free to share this with any other parent who might be struggling with your children's teachers, with their schools. Let's use this as an opportunity to really understand how the brain learns. And who knows, maybe when we all come out of this, we'll be able to work together better to design education structures and systems that truly are aligned with how the brain learns. There's work to be done there, and this could be the opportunity of a lifetime for that to happen. Until then, take a deep breath. The brain loves oxygen.